Some cities used to feel like home, until they didn't. In 2025, more Americans than ever are moving out of major metros, searching for room to breathe, safety, affordability, and peace. Here are the 19 U.S. cities people are leaving the fastest and the real reasons driving each exodus. 19. Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C.'s landmarks still stand tall, monuments, museums, and endless ambition, but its lifeblood is thinning. Once packed metro stations are quieter. Department buildings see fewer staff in seat each day. Remote work isn't just a perk, it's a norm for many federal employees. And with that shift comes less traffic, fewer coffees downtown, and thinner sidewalks. Rents remain high, safety concerns persist in select areas, and local schools feel the ripple effects of declining enrollment. Neighbors exchange row house charm for suburban school zones, couples trade cramped condos for yards and calm. DC is still a center of influence, but fewer people want that influence within its borders. Number 18. Boston, Massachusetts. Boston's academic prestige, hospital excellence, and sports legends remain powerful draws. But behind the backdrop of centuries-old brick and Puritan legacy lies a modern struggle. Daily life includes battling narrow lanes, steep taxes, and housing prices that eclipse six-digit incomes. Mortgage calculators now produce sticker shock. Baby boomers seeking downsized spaces face bidding wars. Traffic gridlock has become part of the curriculum in Boston, road rage, metered frustration included. Young professionals and families chase affordability in sprawling suburbs like Worcester, where space exists and budgets balance. Boston still means opportunity, but that opportunity now requires giving up something else important. Number 17. Buffalo, New York. Buffalo's identity is steeped in loyalty. Sports teams, lakefront sunsets, strong neighborhoods. Still, it faces cold realities. Sustained snowfall of up to a foot per day defines winter here. Economic revival buzzes downtown but struggles to reach beyond. Graduates from local colleges, trained in architecture and media, often leave for jobs elsewhere. Retail strips survive on weekend tourism but fall stagnant midweek. While Buffalo holds its identity in pride and grit, 2025 sees many looking towards cities with jobs, warmth, and chance. Number 16. Minneapolis, Minnesota. Minneapolis once shined as a progressive soul. Lakes, parks, and vibrant culture. Now, it contends with unrest, property tax hikes, and cost increase in housing. Neighborhoods show uneven recovery. Vibrant art districts circling boarded storefronts. Winters remain scenic, but sticker shock cold in utilities takes its toll. Families compare alternative places with better lifestyle-to-cost ratios. Some say the city's spirit is unbroken, but fewer feel it's sustainable. Number 15. Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Milwaukee resonates with authentic festivals, craft beer, and Midwest warmth, but economic inertia moors families in place. Job growth can't outpace inflation. Students leave for thriving hubs. Young adults feel there's nowhere to move up. Neighborhood pride struggles against stagnation. Long-standing families opt for stable futures elsewhere. Milwaukee may have heart, but without sustained prosperity, hearts tend to leave. 14. Baltimore, Maryland. Baltimore bursts with charm. Harbor bars, pastel row houses, tight-knit art scenes. Yet persistent gaps mar its promise. Schools in one neighborhood can flourish while another decays. Crime metrics on some blocks unsettle, overshadowing cultural hotspots. Redeveloped corridors clash with cuts in bus lines and cracked roads. Parents talk about crossing into Montgomery for day-to-day reliability. Baltimore still hums with loyalty, but also uncertainty. Number 13. St. Louis, Missouri. St. Louis thrives on blues, pride, and mid-century art, yet its promise begins to feel mismatched with reality. Downtown resonates with festival sounds, but neighborhoods block away slump. Families often commute to better schools outside city boundaries. Education gap, weather extremes, and governance fragility push people outward. The arch may shine across the skyline, but fewer locals remain anchored below it. 12th. Cleveland, Ohio. Cleveland offers affordability and waterways charm, and even Cavs championship memories. Yet vacancy lines streets. Healthcare and education anchor downtown without lifting surrounding blocks. Cultural energy pulses downtown, but talent keeps drifting east or west. Construction cranes hint at revival, but empty storefronts still dominate many avenues. People choose mobile opportunities over Manhattan-like inertia. Number 11. Detroit, Michigan. Detroit's creative spirit, murals, reclaimed lofts, renewed coffee shops, spark tenacity in the rebuild. Yet mass vacancy remains. Some streets liven after dark, others don't. Resource disparities remain stark block by block. Families leave for suburban schools, daily services, and consistent utility reliability. Detroit's core pulses, but only for some, and that selectivity has drained its resident base. 10. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Philly shines with art murals, cheesesteak shouts, and global heritage. Still, gunwave spikes, trash overflow, and school funding battles cloud day-to-day life. Local parents shop for safety zones, not pizza triumphs. Public transit delays are more common than neighborhood festivals. Philadelphia has soul, but soul alone isn't enough to stem an exodus. Number 9. San Jose, California. San Jose is a tech hub and a housing crisis under glass. Office parks may shine, but costs cling to everything. Software professionals ration budgets for rent, childcare, and savings. Even secure high incomes offer only financial breath, not deep margins. Remote work freed them from commutes, but not from cost demands. San Jose attracts bright minds, but enough can't afford to stay. 8. Oakland, California. Oakland courses with creative energy and cultural variety. Yet it also sparks housing and safety alarms. Mural-lined streets house boardroom parties or board-ups. Public transit is gritty and unreliable. Residents whom the city should elevate feel drained by fees and felonies. Oakland's cultural magnet is still strong, but incomes are weighed down. 7. San Diego, California. San Diego still offers sunshine, beaches, and laid-back charm. But in 2025, that lifestyle comes at a steep cost. Housing prices have surged, with modest homes near the coast well over $1 million and rentals stretching budgets thin. Even with a solid income, many residents find themselves priced out of the neighborhoods they grew up in. Public transportation hasn't caught up with demand, and traffic congestion on the I-5 is a daily frustration. Families face tough choices between high private school costs or relocating for better public options. While the city remains beautiful, rising living costs and growing concerns about homelessness and property crime are pushing people to look elsewhere for a more sustainable life. San Diego still feels like a dream, but for many, it's no longer one they can afford to live in. Number 6. Portland, Oregon. Portland once symbolized creative freedom. Coffee carts so vibrant they illuminated neighborhood winters, murals splashed across alley walls, and the smell of fresh rain on cobblestone streets. But in 2025, the city grapples with a tension between its idealism and its lived reality. Downtown, tents line sidewalks where artisans once set up ed platforms. Those selling kombucha now compete with debris and weariness. Small business owners talk about foot traffic thinning out and rent still spiking despite fading buzz. Civic energy hasn't died, but it no longer reliably reaches the edges. Community leaders express concern that hype trumps home for many residents. Families who once centered their lives around Portland's public school system now scan maps for safety scores. They compare traffic congestion, especially cross-town, and consider trade-offs between walkable charm and genuinely walkable affordability. Young professionals who once moved here for startup energy now commute from farther suburbs or other states because Portland's pulse isn't strong enough to keep them anchored. Although it still holds natural beauty and artisanal credibility, Portland is losing locals who built its brand. In 2025, fewer people see their future here. Number 5. Seattle, Washington. Seattle's skyline still hovers above Pike Place, but beneath the glow, everyday life is wearing thin. The city that once promised innovation and critical mass of opportunity is now paying that promise out in stacked equity prizes. It's not that Seattle collapsed, it's that costs have crept into everything. Rents for a one-bedroom apartment surpass $2,500 in many parts of the city. Parking costs often double that, and transit fees don't always gel with gig schedules. A single parent working 2 part-time jobs recently told Kiro 7 they sleep in shifts to save on rent. They know it's unsustainable. Those working in tech feel the pinch too, amplified by the recent wave of layoffs and shuttered campuses in South Lake Union. The homeless conversation is no longer side of the news. It lives in open air, camps near highways, and headlines around cleaning funding. Public transit, once a source of pride, now laments missed schedules and cracks in reliability. Daylight savings drags commuters into gloom before they even exit their jobs. Today, some keep their Seattle roots but transfer their lives to Tacoma or Spokane. Others choose Boise or Spokane for lower rent and less emotional weight. Seattle's still scenic, but in many eyes, it doesn't look or feel like a home worth keeping. Number 4. Chicago, Illinois. Chicago remains a powerhouse of culture. Jazz clubs whisper legends, high-rise architecture frames lake views, and deep dish pizza still tastes like cultural continuity. But in 2025, the cost of living, and living with constant tension, has changed who calls the city theirs. Crime hotspots, specifically on the south and west sides, cast a disproportionate shadow. Neighborhoods less than 10 miles apart report wildly different safety metrics, prompting families to think twice about pulling roots. At the same time, property taxes remain steep. A homeowner in Lincoln Park recently shared that her tax bill had increased 30% over 3 years without enough visible improvement in services. Then factor in Chicago's brutal winters. Single-digit temps, lake-effect snowstorms, and ice-laced sidewalks make seasonality a living challenge. Many longtime Chicagoans say they'll endure 5 months of cold, but they don't want to pay a premium to do it. With key cost savings in suburbs, Oak Park, Naperville, where housing is cheaper, schools are stable, transit still functional, and streets safer, the decision comes clear. So they pick the suburbs, not for glamour, but for clarity. Number 3. New York City, New York. New York still dazzles the globe, but in 2025, its shine feels more distant to the people who should feel closest to it. Daily rents crush budgets. Family-sized Manhattan apartments soar above $4,000 a month. Commuting from Brooklyn or Queens means subway rides that swallow transit budgets and steal time. Those who work remotely no longer buy bulk groceries for monthly subway marathons. Instead, they buy snacks for time, delivering themselves an escape from clustered chaos. Safety concerns rise alongside affordability woes. Upper East Siders share anxiety over subway interactions, even if subway ridership is still high. Parents think twice about letting their teens walk or ride solo after dark, something locals used to take for granted. Many choose to raise families in Nassau or Westchester, closer than Vermont to New York, but far enough to feel different. New York still has hustle, fashion runways, Broadway shows, Wall Street, but the price to participate is steep, and what once called itself indispensable now has fewer takers. Number 2. San Francisco, California. San Francisco is a city of hills, cable cars, tech titans, but also empty downtown corridors. In 2025, it's priced itself out of many lives, especially those who built it. Walking through the financial district at lunch reveals elegantly dressed professionals with empty, echoing sidewalks. Office towers remain open, but 12 p.m. peak crowds are old memories. Remote and hybrid work have accompanied a drop in restaurant revenues. Some establishments that once filled plates career lunchtime now survive on dinner traffic only. Startups that once made the Mission District glow now make remote work-life adjustments. Rents on Pacific Heights are still headlines, but so are vacancies on Valencia Street. A recent report suggests downtown retail space remains 40% empty. Yet people still ride the cable cars at noon because they want to feel a pulse. Trolley bells still ring, but far fewer footsteps follow. In 2025, San Francisco looks spectacular, but fewer people choose to live there because it costs more to live than it gives back. Number 1. Los Angeles, California. Los Angeles stands for dreams, films, fame, sunsets, but 2025 brings the other side of the dream. Traffic has become national tall tale. MTA reports the city's average commute ranks first in the US. It's not just LA, it's nearly inescapable. Housing costs and space pressures define the city. A 3-bedroom home in Echo Park can eclipse $1.5 million. Rents chase incomes upward. Even performing artists say they find more living space and more shows in Phoenix. Homelessness has become the key frame of an entire city. Tent zones dot high-rent streets, sidewalks bustle into other states of suffering, neighborhoods scramble to retain community identity. Safety rates diverge dramatically. Some parts feel like movie sets, others like abandoned scripts. Cultural depth remains. Griffith Observatory, Getty, Hollywood Bowl. But the emotional distance between life and paycheck has grown. People still chase careers here, but not at the cost of childhoods. Couples who once parted at the 405 now live together beyond it. At long last, leaving Los Angeles seems like buying back a life. Opting for air, access, affordability, it isn't surrender, it's a reset. Leaving a city isn't failure, it's choosing a home that works. Have you moved from one of these cities? Share your story below. For grounded guides about where people go next, subscribe and tap the bell. Thanks for watching. Here's to where life fits.